noticed that they were having the Q&A.
I'm Chris Hegedus, and the film that I'm with is Kings of Pastry.
I'm Mr. Hegedus, and I'm here to support my beautiful wife. My name is DA Pennebaker, and I don't know exactly why I'm here. Why am I here? We're doing a talk. We're doing a talk.
Your name is on the film.
Kings of Pastry.
Kings of Pastry. Now you said originally you had gotten involved via your dogs.
Yes.
Can you
Dog
explain
Bix.
In New York, where we live, if you live near Central Park, you can walk your dog in the park and you can meet a wonderful community of friends. And one of the friends that I met was our producer, Flora Lazar, who standing over to the side. And she moved to Chicago and decided to go to the French pastry school. And when she was there, she heard about one of the founders of the school going to compete for the prestigious MOF competition, as they call it in France. And so we came out and met Chef Jackie Pfeiffer and decided to make the film.
But while she was still in New York, this is an essential part of the story, her dog was our dog's main squeeze. And she took that dog away. And our dog was very sorry about that. And we heard a lot about it over the years. But anyway, she became our friend in Chicago. And since Chicago was where I was born, going back there was kind of nice. It used to make me homesick.
So now the film itself, because it was about the cooking competition, but you guys are very, very fly on the wall-ish on it. How small of a crew did you guys have to film all the main cooking action?
That's
Well,
it.
we just basically, film with a one-person camera outfit. So usually, I would say I shot the majority of the film. Penny shot some.
I was a second camera. I sometimes had a camera, but it was too big, really. The small camera was better here because we didn't want to get in the way of the pastry.
Now, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times people are used to watching cooking competition shows now on Food Network and other channels, and it's all swinging cameras, it's all beautifully lit and stuff. You guys really captured the rawness of this event that isn't staged for the cameras.
Right. Well, it's kind of shot as a home movie, I guess. We just kind of jumped into it ourselves and started shooting without, having funding or whatever, because the story was unfolding. And you can either, decide to wait and miss everything or just start. And since, we could film it ourselves, we just started.
Were you shocked and amazed at the preparation that these chefs have to go through for this marathon of cooking?
Considering how we cook our own dinners, yes, we're very shocked.
Yeah, no, it was phenomenal to see. Just the degree of detail that goes into a French pastry is amazing. And of course, sugar sculptures, chocolate sculptures, I had really no conception of those and just how intricate they were, how delicate, how fragile, and how creative. Jackie was basically doing glass blowing, but with sugar, and that's pretty amazing.
How many? He took like a dozen of those eggs with him over there.
Right.
And how were you amazed that they weren't all destroyed in the shipping, or because they look so fragile?
No, he got them all there. I think people were carrying them in their laps on the airplanes, but the whole thing was sort of mysterious to me. I didn't imagine any of them would arrive. You don't know. But he had something in his head about it, and he did it.
Well, what was sad in the end is after all that preparation, he ended up not being able to use them because just chemically something went wrong with them and they, weren't able to be used for the competition. So at the last minute, he had to kind of redefine his whole vision for sugar sculpture.
Now,
hard.
Watching cooking shows on TV, they always have the people complaining about the humidity in the room or the altitude or something, especially when they go to Denver, they do it and stuff. Was that part of the concerns that he had for preparing for this thing?
You could see the trouble he had. So some of his things stuck, the cake stuff stuck together. It was very hard to. As the guy said, humidity is the chef's greatest enemy because you can't control it.
And how many people did they have per? It seemed like there was like 4 chefs per kitchen space. Was that about right?
There were 3 kitchens, and 2 of them had 6 chefs in it, and 1 had 4 chefs.
Okay.
So we actually had our friend and collaborator quite often, Nick Dube, came and shot with us when we shot the 3-day competition. So we each kind of alternated on different kitchens.
Now, what you guys did the War Room. What was more intense of an environment? James Carvell going full throttle, or these guys going full throttle and having to be extremely delicate at the same time?
People that are subjected to their own passions are all in some sort of race that is beyond your imagination.
Is almost because you had the small, you were just basically shooting with the handheld cameras. Did you sit there at some points and think, if I had to ask these guys to do this again or to restage this shot, I'd get stuff thrown at me?
Yeah, I mean, they were very concerned about us being there. The access was very difficult, and by the end of it, they basically drew a little box on the floor that we were allowed to stand in, because the idea that we would accidentally bump anybody and kind of wreck their chances. Each of these chefs, because this competition happens every 3 years, had spent an enormous amount of time and money and stress with the family to do this. And even to get into this competition, they had already competed in a 2-day version of this competition. So, it's just an enormous amount of work to do this competition.
How much money was ballpark for what he had to spend for doing the semifinals and the finals, seeing how he had to lift everything and airlift it over to France to compete?
I mean, I don't know the number, but I did hear Jackie say to somebody who asked him that question at the after party that it's like buying a house.
Yes. They all mortgaged their houses to do it.
Oh, man. So it's even more heartbreaking when you see them not come in and get the new collar.
I know.
Yeah.
The guy across from me was his 4th time.
Oh, man. And is there that much money in pastries to support yourself after you win this award?
Well, in France, chefs are heavy hitters. And ones that wear collars, with the little tricolor on them, are the big hitters. And in France, that's about as high as you can go in the fountainhead,
Well, I think it's not just about money. I mean, I think that of course, being able to have a career that maybe is more lucrative after you've competed in this or gained that collar. But I think a lot of it is that they want to prove that they can do things at the highest level possible. It's about excellence. It's about passing on the idea of creating at the highest level.
So it's a prestige, more a prestige element than anything else at its base.
Yeah.
Sort of, just the way, for instance, a restaurant with 3 stars is as high as it can get. And the people that award those stars that go out and are told that they lead secret lives their whole lives. They're never allowed to say who they are. And the restaurants really almost never know which ones they are. So the whole thing is carried on in like a secret war, but it has to do with the charm that the French detail, ability to detail and make perfect things holds for people. And when you go to France, the first thing you do is go to a 3-star restaurant. Why? I don't know. You just want to see what that's like.
Now, did they actually reveal the scores or how close somebody came, or is that just completely off the record?
No, it's not a public comparison. I think if they would like to know it, they can find out, but, actually, I'm not sure about that.
Now, not to spoil the outcome, but were you kind of shocked at how things played out at the very end, because you'd been watching and doing your own scoring in your own mind, thinking who's going to come out top?
We were very surprised.
Yeah, there's definitely some surprises at the end of the film, and, some twists, and, I guess, that makes it interesting. It's true to life.
Now, how hard was it to control yourself from reaching from behind the camera and grabbing a couple snacks once in a while?
It was very hard to do. I mean, we were really lucky, when Jackie made his unbelievably beautiful, I don't know how many layers that was, 12-layer cake that we were allowed to sample that, and it was probably the best thing I'll ever eat, because I don't know how it would be cost effective to actually make something like that for the general public. But
You're talking about the round one in
Yeah.
Chicago? That was the best thing